I don't know if anyone has this feeling or has ever had this feeling before, but I'm genuinely that happy. I kind of feel like I'm living a dream. And one thing I wouldn't ever expect to be feeling with the situation that I'm in, with the things that I have in my life, is this dream. My life feels like if I thought of a perfect life and then I go into it and I'm living it. It genuinely feels like a dream. And when I talk about perfection, I don't talk about everything's 100% right, everything goes right, everything's happening exactly how I want it. There's no negative that ever happens in my existence. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. That's perfection. Perfection for me is a mixture of bad and good, is the perfect amount of suffering and learning, resilience building, character building. Every bad thing that happens, every negative, well, not every, but most negative situations that are happening, I see value in. And it doesn't really feel like such a negative, especially in a perspective of a week or a couple of days. Maybe in the moment, don't get me wrong, I'm going to feel heated and emotional. And with the house that we're buying, when I found out that the offer that we'd put in had been accepted, I was terrified. I was scared out of my mind that I couldn't even feel excitement. Now, one of the things that has happened is I've delved a bit deeper into it, into buying a house, into solicitors, into fees, into mortgages, into what things mean. I've had conversations with people, and it's built this better understanding about the whole situation. And what that does for me is it removes the fear and it builds excitement for me. That's how my excitement happens. It builds. I don't get this one burst of sort of excitement. I get this sort of equation where it's on a scale of the more interest I put into it, the more excitement I get. The more work I put into it, the more excitement I get. The more understanding that I have, the more the fear gets reduced. That's where the building of excitement occurs. And that's sort of what's been happening with me in how I see life so perfect and a dream. Because I'm getting these situations and these emotions and feelings where it's like resistance, where that would cause anxiety. But I just have this understanding at the moment for the current situations in my life where the more effort you put in, the more you almost push the fear away, the more you control the fear. And you realize it's not fear, it's just you don't understand what's happening. You have a lack of knowledge. It intimidates you because of the unknown. And all you have to do is discover the unknown and make it become the known. I think that's what I'm going for. Because each problem, especially with this house that I come across, with the paperwork and the research and stuff like that, and understanding all the lingo and, you know, what are these fees, what's that fees, what step by step do you have to do? And the more I hit a point where I don't know what's happening, I get this wave of anxiety, this wave of fear. This could be the one that stops it. This is the one that reduces you and who you are to being someone who isn't smart enough, isn't good enough to deal with this situation. And all those are natural emotions for me. But what then switches is when I have more understanding, when I get past that one, when I have a question and a problem. This happens all the time in my life. I have a question, I have a problem, I have a hurdle that I have to get over. And it's how long I stay stuck on that hurdle. And that creates the fear, that creates the anxiety. And as soon as I get past it, as soon as I have that realization of what to do and the knowledge comes, it's all fine. I almost look back and laugh and say, what, that was the issue? That was the problem? It's this simple? Now, it's not simple, don't get me wrong, but you learn. And I've always thought it is about the input. We're just computers. It's the input that you have that makes who you are. And the emotions, you have no input, these emotions, fear and anxiety happens because you don't have the knowledge and an input. All you've got to do is try and figure out how to understand it, whether that's talking to people, whether that's Googling stuff, whether that's paying people to do the job for you, and you get an understanding about it, and you go, well, next time I can do it myself because it's not actually that hard. I understand it now. For example, with running, people set out and they expect to be able to do 5K in, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or just do a 5K, just run a 5K. And people expect it to just happen. Even if you spend a month on it, people expect it to happen. A month is a long time to spend on something. What people don't understand is the reason you want to do it is because it has value. And for it to have value, it must be hard to do. It must bring resilience with it. You must have hurdles to get over to get it. And that's what I think about the house. It's something, I don't see the value in it. At the start, when I was told, I don't get excited to get into debt. And I don't necessarily see the positive. I see the life that I'm going to build with my girlfriend. That, absolutely, love that, want that, looking forward to that, excited for that. But it's almost separate to the house. Do you know what I mean? The excitement's over with her, not the house. And it's bringing those two things together. Now, at the time when I was told about the offer, I don't see the hurdles. I haven't experienced the hurdles. What happens is you get your offer accepted and it's almost like people bought a house almost. But that's not realistically what happens. You've got to get a mortgage, you've got to get solicitors, you've got to see the house more times, you've got to get surveys, you've got to get a bunch of stuff. And the more I'm exposed to these hurdles and the more I get over these hurdles, the more the excitement builds. And for me, I wish people could see that, see the value in the hurdles. And I think that's why my life is feeling so perfect and great at the moment. It's because I see value in the hurdles. I see value in the negative. And again, I just said this, but maybe not in the moment, maybe not directly in the moment. And that's fine because you also need that frustration and that fear at the beginning, because that's a hurdle in itself that builds and creates this achievement at the end of it. So that's what I mean by my life is feeling perfect, because it has the right balance of hurdles and fear and beauty and excitement and change. One of the things that I think I've said to people is I don't expect to buy a house yet. 2 years, 6 months, a year, whatever. And I set those standards for myself because I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the change that comes. If I was to have my life right now exactly how it is for another 2 years, it would be pure bliss. And that's why I'm not rushing to move out. I wasn't rushing to move out and buy a house. And I was happy just letting it happen naturally. I didn't have to force anything. I'm not in a situation where I need to buy a house. My home setting isn't awful. It's perfect. I've got people that love me. I've not got hate around me where I've got to move out. I've not got a kid on the way. I've not got a girlfriend that has to move next week. I'm in a perfect situation where I can sit and enjoy my sort of fucking life right now. And I think the fear that came along with getting an offer accepted for a house is the fear of change and the fear of I've lived my life so far and I've not felt this great ever. And not as soon as I get it, but while I've got it, I do not want that to go. And the fear of that leaving makes me want to hold on to this situation even tighter and not let it go. And that's not the answer. The answer is you've got to sit, relax, surrender to it and say, at least I've got it. At least I've got this perfection. All those years have built up to this perfection right now. And sit in it, appreciate it, feel it. And then I have no doubts that it'll pass. I have no doubts that I'll get more stress in my life and things will change. And that is living life for me. All that, the stuff you dread, I'm almost believing is the purpose to life. The things you fear, the things you avoid is almost the purpose to life. That is the living. That is because you need both the great feeling and the negative feeling. It's almost like focus on searching for the uncomfortability and searching for the improvements and search for your fears in whatever way you can. I'm not out here David Goggins style or all these other motivational people you see. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not out here searching, storming head on and doing it. I'm taking tiny baby steps a day. Maybe even one step forward, 4 steps back. Over a gradual time, I get there and I'm getting there. And that's, I think, how life happens. I don't think it is this massive boost of things that makes your life amazing. It's over a long period. That's how I've experienced it. So I don't want to sit here and talk as if I'm this amazing guy who's charging at everything and getting exactly the life I want. I am just sitting here. Life's just happening. It's my mental state that I'm working on. to try and get in the correct position, to appreciate when I have the perfect life and existence right now. You still have to work. You still have to work to surrender to it and to live it. Because I could sit here and worry that it could go and grab on and hold on extremely tight as if it's going to go. And then it goes and you never lived it. You never sat in it. You never felt it. Because when it goes and if it goes, I'm almost excited for it to go in an anxious way. A thought I had today was I've done it before. So when it comes again, will it be easier? Will I have more perspective on it? Will I be like, oh, now I'm sitting in it? Will I have those thoughts? And I'm not trying to avoid my life going tits up. I'm not trying to avoid life crashing down on me. Because like I said, I think what I'm thinking at the moment is, I think that's where living life is. I think that's where the definition of life should be. It's the tough stuff, because that's where the value is. Because that's where we learn, and that's where we develop, and that's where we get stronger. And that's where we learn to love, and that's where we learn to appreciate what we've not got. One of the things I've always grown up is I can never appreciate sitting in that moment. Always in my memory, I can look back and say, God, that was great. Remember those holidays with the family? They were amazing. Thinking right now, I wish I could go back to the childhood that I've got. But while I was in it, I thought my childhood wasn't good. I thought it wasn't good at points. Right now, I look back and I am the luckiest guy ever in the world to have been raised how I've been raised, to have been bought the stuff I've been bought, to have the house that I live in, to have the holidays that I've had, to have the effort and sacrifice from my family to be the person who I am. It gets me emotional. And I think, God, imagine if I could feel and appreciate that in the moment. It would have been crazy. And that's what I'm doing now. That's what I have now. I appreciate everything that I have, the life that I have, the people that I have in my life. I think that's where the value is for me. It's the mindset that I've seen, that I can see the value in everything. And it's okay to not even feel things in the moment. And that at least I can feel it now. I can sit back and look at those memories and feel every single emotion I should have felt then. But at the end of the day, I'm still feeling it now. But another great weekend. Again, love the weekend. It helps that it's a bank holiday. A lot of rest this weekend. And it's been good for the soul. It's been good for me. And I'm a little bit itching to get back out and I don't know, do some hard stuff, get challenged. And I know people are going to look at me and say, he's not actually doing much. Close people that I know, they're not going to see, oh, well, he has got it easy. He has got a life that's easy. He's not really pushing himself too hard. And I say to that, I say, absolutely. I fully agree. My life is easy right now. No responsibility, no pressure. And that's exciting, because who I am now, who can I become when the pressure turns up? Will I crumble or will I step up to the occasion? And to those people that think that, I think, bring it on. Pile the pressure on. Let's see what I can do. I'm not sat here saying I'm going to be this amazing guy who's going to fly through it perfectly. I'm saying I'm going to be the guy that's not going to do that, that's not going to fly through it perfectly. I'm going to fly. I'm going to trip, stumble, fall over all the way through. I'm going to feel fear. I'm going to feel sadness. I'm going to feel scared. I'm going to feel ungrateful. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to think life's not fair. That's all going to happen. But that's all the challenge, and that's living life. That is how it is. And for the people that are in that right now and do think God is just a privileged twat trying to talk about stuff, absolutely. I'm so privileged. And you know what? A lot of us in this country are privileged with the world we live in, and we just don't see it. And we see that all the work is actually going on up in our head. And our environments are just a representation of that. And that'll insult people, because that'll hurt deep in the heart, in the soul. That's me attacking you in the soul and saying you need to step up, you need to get a grip. And that's what I need to be told when I'm in that same situation. Get a grip. Because it's true. A lot of us do need to be shaken and do need to be slapped to make us realise what our existence actually is. Even the people that have had awful things done to them, you need to see the value in that and how strong you actually are. You need to see the value in, you need to be shaken and slapped just to see the value in yourself, just to see the value in who you are and who you've become, rather than attacking everyone else, saying everyone else needs to do stuff and that what I'm talking about isn't right and is a bit pompous and a bit, like I said, privileged and I don't really know what life's actually like, I say, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But instead of looking out at everyone else, you need to look inside you and say, how valuable am I? How great am I? How valuable is everything that's happening to me now? Because I can pass it on and teach it and prevent it maybe the next time. That's what I think sometimes. I think all these people that have been through hard stuff and tough shit, the most awful things you can think of, I think you are the leaders. You are the people that can teach everyone how to get through tough times. I'm sat here talking about it, and right now sitting here, I've not been through struggle. If I compare myself to everyone else, I've not been to extreme struggle. I have been privileged, but at the time of my struggle, I thought it was the hardest thing ever. I remember always thinking to myself, I'm tougher than anyone I ever know. I'm the toughest guy in the world. Nothing's happened to me when I look back at it now, but while you're sat in it, while you're in it, you think about yourself. I think if you can create value in it and you can share it and you can, I think that's why my life feels better, because I am filming these videos and I am sharing stuff, and I've said it in the past, it puts it in perspective. It puts your own life in perspective and go, life's great. Life's perfect. Nothing bad is going on in my life realistically. And it is almost like everything I've been saying, really, can you listen to me? Because I'm not going through any struggle right now. Nothing's ever happened to me in life that's brought me to my knees necessarily. And that's how I think of it now. But it's hard for something, I think, to bring me to my knees now because I've got so much value in the negative happening. What's the issue with that is it's going to take something big to crumble me. And what will happen is life's not kind in that way. Life sees the value in the negative as well. I think it sees that now it's time. And I am almost just waiting as well for that negative to come and almost saying, bring it on. Even though when I'm in the thick of it, I'll be screaming the opposite. But at the end of the day, life doesn't have to be so down. Life doesn't have to be so negative. When I first thought about filming these videos, I thought, am I going to be sat here moaning so much? Am I going to be talking about how my life's awful? And, well, not my life's awful, but how my mindset's awful and how I'm feeling sad and emotional and stuff like that. And it is actually quite the opposite, I feel, which has surprised me. Filming stuff like this has really surprised me. And I'm only talking from me to the camera. One day, if I get there and I start talking to other people on camera, it'll be interesting to see what I learn from that. That's what I'm excited for. Anyway, great weekend, home now. So peace.